The morning the letter arrived, the house in Birmingham felt unusually still. It was the kind of stillness that comes right before a storm, even though the sky outside was gray and predictable. Aisha stood by the window, holding the brown envelope in her hands, tracing her thumb along its edge as if the texture alone could reveal what was inside. Her name was written neatly on the front. Aisha Malik. 16 years old. The quiet one. The steady one. The child who didn't need attention because she simply managed. The house was waking up behind her, kettle boiling, footsteps upstairs, her mother moving through the kitchen with the soft impatience of someone carrying too much. Her brother, Haroon, shouted something from the hallway, probably looking for a hoodie he'd lost for the third time this week. Things were normal around her. Except inside her chest, everything felt slightly tilted. Aisha didn't open the envelope. Not yet. She tucked it under her notebook on the dining table just as her mother walked in. "You're up early," her mother said, sounding surprised. "I couldn't sleep," Aisha replied. Her mother nodded, already distracted. "I need to leave early today. Covering for someone at the clinic." Aisha just hummed in response. She was used to short conversations, half-finished sentences, love expressed through rushing. Her father came down next, holding his phone, reading emails before he'd even sat down. He squeezed Aisha's shoulder lightly, a gesture meant to be affectionate but distant in execution. "Morning, Beta," he said. "Morning." Haroon finally stumbled in, wearing mismatched socks and looking dramatically stressed. "Mom, I can't find my charger." "Someone moved it." Aisha stayed silent. She always stayed silent. She had learned that silence made everything smoother. And smoother meant fewer questions, fewer interruptions, fewer expectations. School wasn't much different. Aisha wasn't invisible, just unnoticed. Her friends were kind, the teachers were polite, and everything looked fine from the outside. But she carried the weight of being the reliable one, the one who understood the family's struggles without needing to be told. The one who never caused trouble. The one who blended in because standing out felt like a luxury she didn't earn. At lunch, she sat with Sarah and Mira, listening as they talked about weekend plans, college applications, and a TV series everyone seemed obsessed with. She smiled when she was supposed to, nodded when needed, laughed quietly at the funny bits. They cared about her, she knew they did, but no one ever asked why she seemed tired lately, or why her eyes sometimes looked like they'd been holding tears she refused to let fall. After school, she walked home slowly, the envelope's existence pressing against her like a second heartbeat. She kept replaying the moment it had arrived, addressed to her, not the family. It wasn't a bill. It wasn't an appointment reminder. It wasn't college-related. Something about it felt personal. Heavy. When she reached home, the house was empty. Her mother wouldn't be back until late, her father was on a work trip, and Haroon had football practice. The silence wrapped around her like a familiar blanket, comforting and suffocating at once. She set her bag down, pulled out the envelope, and sat at the dining table again. The brown paper felt thicker now. More serious. She breathed deeply, then slid her finger under the edge and opened it. Inside was a letter from a counseling service she didn't recognize. At first, she thought it must be some sort of mistake. But then she read the first line. "We received a referral requesting support for you, ****. Her hands froze. A referral? For her? But she hadn't told anyone anything. She hadn't even admitted to herself that something was wrong. She read further, heart thumping louder with each line. The letter explained that support had been suggested due to concerns about her emotional well-being. It listed her school as the referring body. Her school? Her teachers? They had noticed something? For a moment she just stared at the words, feeling strangely exposed. Someone had seen her, really seen her. Not the quiet exterior, not the polite smile, not the easy daughter who carried her struggles like a secret. Someone saw past all of that. Someone thought she needed help. She didn't know if she should feel grateful or terrified. She reread the letter once, twice, 3 times. Then she saw the final line. Your first appointment is scheduled for next Thursday at 3:45 p.m. ****. Aisha leaned back in her chair, her breath uneven. She had never talked to anyone about what she felt, the pressure, the sadness that never fully left, the sense that she was fading into the background of her own life. She thought she was hiding it well. Too well. A quiet knock echoed from the front door, startling her. She jumped slightly, wiping her eyes without realizing she'd even teared up. She tucked the letter back into the envelope and shoved it under her notebook just as the doorbell rang again. She didn't know it yet, but the person waiting on the other side was about to change everything. Aisha opened the door cautiously, half expecting a neighbor, a delivery, or maybe Haroon forgetting his keys again. Instead, she found her form tutor, Mr. Reese, standing on the doorstep. He was holding a folder, his usual warm smile softened by something gentler, concern, maybe. It wasn't the look teachers gave when a student missed homework or talked in class. It was the kind of expression someone wears when they've noticed something they weren't supposed to notice. Aisha, he said kindly. Sorry to drop by unannounced. Are your parents home? She shook her head. No, they're both out. I see. Anyone's attention. But something stopped her. Maybe the letter still warm in her pocket. Maybe the curiosity, or the fear, or the strange relief that someone had knocked just when she needed it. Okay, she said softly. She led him to the living room. The house felt smaller with another person in it, as if her feelings, usually compressed and hidden, were now filling the space between them. Mr. Reese sat on the sofa, hands clasped, studying her face with the kind of patience only certain adults possessed, the ones who had learned to listen before speaking. I know this is unexpected, he began, but I wanted to check on you. Aisha blinked. Check on me? He nodded. You've been quieter than usual lately. She almost laughed at that. How much quieter could she get? But he continued gently, I've noticed the way you hold your shoulders, a bit tense. Your focus drifting. The way you hesitate before answering questions you used to answer with confidence. Her fingers gripped the edges of her sleeves. She didn't realize anyone had been watching her that closely. We're not here to judge, he said quickly. Teachers talk. We look out for students. Your English teacher, Ms. O'Donnell, she noticed too. She said your last essay felt heavier than the others. Aisha felt heat rise in her cheeks. That essay had been personal, even though she wrote it as fiction. It was about a girl learning how to disappear. Mr. Reese cleared his throat softly. We thought it might be helpful to get you some support. Someone you can talk to. Safely. Aisha's heart thudded. She knew what he meant. She thought of the letter in her pocket. You sent the referral, she asked quietly. Your well-being team did, he corrected gently. With my recommendation. And then he paused, waiting, not pushing, not prying. Just waiting, like he wanted her to guide the conversation. Aisha looked down. Part of her felt exposed, like a secret had been peeled open without her permission.